The topic of my presentations is PhD curricula in the Russian Federation, requirements, development, and implementation experience. So who has the opportunity to implement postgraduate training programs in Russia? We can see, according to the procedure defined by the Ministry of Science and Higher Education of Russian Federation, the PhD programs belong to the third cycle of higher education in Russian and in Russian educational system. Organization postgraduate programs are implemented by higher education institutions, universities, you mean, and organization of additional professional education, scientific organizations, research institutions. And all these organizations must have a license for this type of education, and the programs must be accredited by government agencies. In order to provide condition for postgraduate students, to acquire the necessary level of knowledge, skills, experience, and preparation for the defense of scientific qualification work, dissertation for the PhD degree. In Russian, we say candidate of science, you know. In this slide, you can see, in this in this slide you can see the stages of reforming of PhD education in Russia. PhD education, I mean, this level was not before the 2013, the third cycle of higher education. We had only three PhD exams. Just a moment. Mandatory exams, yeah, and in history and philosophy, in philosophy of science, foreign language, and special discipline in accordance with the science codification. Some publications are usually 4 and more, and PhD theses were defending in 2 stages: pre-defense and defense, and then the PhD graduates had a PhD diploma. 2013, PhD education became the third cycle of higher education system in Russia. PhD curricula became the mandatory part of PhD training, PhD student training. You can see in the middle part of this slide. But you can see that these 3 exams, I mean PhD exams, stay in the program, yeah? They have not gone away. They are still a mandatory part of the postgraduate training. However, the program has become more intense. We will see that in the next slide. And you can see in this part that the defense of PhD thesis became more complex. So firstly,
please, if you don't speak, mute the microphone.
Okay, so to have a diploma about the to have the diploma, our students should defend only scientific qualification thesis that is not equal PhD thesis, and they don't have PhD diploma, just the diploma about the graduate of the third cycle of higher education. It's something very strange, but this is the current situation in Russian education, PhD education. Before to continue, what is going to be changed in our PhD education system, I want to tell you about the curricula, about the PhD curricula. What are the requirements, and what are what is our experience in its implementation? But you can see the narrow that show where our system is. We are here. We are on the border. Yeah? Okay, let's continue. So, as soon as PhD education became the third cycle, we met some challenges. Yeah. The first one, difference between nomenclature. I don't know how to pronounce this word. Of scientific specialties for PhD thesis defense and training subject areas in accordance with federal state educational standards. The second one is absence of professional standard for researcher and the absence of national qualification framework and of experience in PhD curricular development, especially PhD curricular development, and lack of experience in PhD cohort education, because you know that the training of a PhD student is very unique for every student, yeah, and how to teach them in groups. So we didn't have a wide experience, especially in research organization. You can see in previous slides that not only universities have this opportunity to teach and to train PhD students. And the first challenge you can see on the example of MIGAIC, nomenclature and codification, research areas and training areas. You can see some research areas in which our students can defend their PhD thesis, and the generalized subject area science, yeah. Only in the middle of this slide you can see the right correspondence, and this is the common situation. Despite the lack of professional standards for researchers and national qualification framework, education standards, I mean federal state education standards, were developed for the development of educational programs of the third cycle of higher education in Russia. And now you can see the requirements. Type of professional activities that graduates are preparing for, those who have complemented the postgraduate program. Take care, just those who has complemented the postgraduate program. Research activities in the field of earth science, teaching activities in higher education. In earth science, just because the MIGAIC example. As a result of mastering the postgraduate program, the graduate has formed the following competencies: universal competencies that do not depend on specific training area, general professional competence defined by the training area, and focused professional competences, defined profile of the postgraduate program in the field of training. Universal competence, they are common for all PhD programs. Ability to critically analyze and evaluate modern scientific research achievements, generate new ideas to solve research and practical tasks, including in disciplinary areas, ability to design and carry out comprehensive research, including interdisciplinary, based on a holistic system of scientific research worldviews, using knowledge in the field of history and philosophy of science. They should be ready to participate in the work of Russian and international research teams to solve scientific and educational problem tasks, readiness to use modern methods and technologies of science research communication in the state and foreign languages, and ability to plan and solve problems of your own professional and personal development. General professional competence, you can see only two of them, and they are common for all researchers, all future researchers. Ability to independently carry out research activities in the relevant professional field using modern research methods, information and communication technologies, and readiness to teaching activities in higher education system. And professional competences. The organization forms the list of professional competencies of the postgraduate program independently in accordance with the educational program and or the nomenclature of scientific specialties for which degrees are awarded. So you can see that every university, for every specific, every profile of PhD educational program, forms their own list of professional competence according what? If we don't have the special professional standard, and if we don't have a national qualification framework. This is a question, this is a big question, and this is the challenge. You can see the frame of curricular structure in ECTS. Compulsory disciplines 9 ECTS, and optional disciplines 21 ECTS. The whole amount ECTS for disciplines 30. Then we can see practice and research activity 141 or 201 ECTS. It depends on the PhD program. I mean, for 3 years or for 3 years or for 4 years total. And so the state final exam, 9 ECTS, the total amount is 180 or 240 ECTS. It depends on the program. This is the example MIGAEC, as of Science PhD curricula. You can see the example of basic subject, compulsory discipline, 9 ECTS. This is history and philosophy of science, and foreign languages. And includes in this part includes the final certification, state final certification, but I put it on the bottom of this slide. General professional disciplines, and you can see the pedagogical part that prepare our students to be higher education teachers. Organization and implementation of research, modern problems of geodesic sciences, speciality, geoinformatics, modern problems of cartography, all of these disciplines and professional disciplines and optional subjects, all of them are professional. So you can see that we don't have any discipline that help our students to increase their qualification, their skills in communication or in article writing or preparing of presentation or posters or something else, and so on. So we forms and methods, usually classic lectures and seminars, and we tried to analyze our program according to research development framework. We could see in London Brunel University presentations, and so we put our disciplines in 4 columns: knowledge in intellectual abilities, professional effectiveness, research, governance, organization, engagement, influence, and impact. And so you can see that there are lots of white places. Yeah. So we can see that no discipline or no training courses that train our students in professional effectiveness, yeah, according to as I mentioned above, according to research development framework. Yeah. Knowledge and intellectual ability, the most fullness column. Engagement, influence, and impact, you can see so some courses over there, like foreign languages and pedagogy and philosophy of higher education. So according to our students mention, they highlighted only 2 courses as the most useful in this curriculum: history and philosophy of science. This discipline helped them to understand where their research area, their research issues are placed in the whole map of science, yeah, and organization and implementation of research that help them to organize their research, implement, and to prepare their thesis, their final thesis. So I think so we have the wide area to modernize this, to modernize our programs. And so strengths of our program: professional subject knowledge base. It's really very strong, and teaching training, methodology and practice, and psychology as well. And weakness, you can see we try to analyze all our PhD education system, including their support and some other issues, but 5 of them correspond to our curricula: lack of inquiring mind, creativity, innovation abilities, governance and organization training, finance, funding and results, research management, ethics, sustainability, research strategy, project planning and delivery, risk management, and common funding generation, infrastructure and resources, so etc. So lots of things that are lots of issues that are very important for research and development. Lack of professional effectiveness training, integrity, self-confidence, self-reflection, career management, reputation, esteem, etc. So lots of things that are very useful, but now in our curricula: lack of engagement, influence, and impact training, public engagement, enterprise, publication, international journals, teamwork, and supervising, mentoring, international collaboration, etc. All of these, the skills, the development of skills in all these areas, in all these issues, are only on student and its supervisor. And weak language training, sorry. And now just some words about the next step, about the future reforming, which are very close to us. Yeah. So you can see in take a look just on the middle column. You can see that there are two thesis defense. The first one is scientific qualification thesis or final qualification thesis defense, and after that is not equal of PhD defense, not equal to PhD diploma. They have the diploma about the graduate of the third cycle of university, higher education, yeah? And it's just a question, is the student is going or not going to finish his or her PhD, to finalize the PhD thesis in that will be implemented in two steps: pre-defense and defense. So it's very big part of the big part of the preparation of this thesis. It's out of the PhD education at university, yeah. And in this year, the Ministry of Science and Education makes decision to continue reforming of PhD education in Russia, and there are some changes in. There will be some changes in PhD curricula, and it's not clear what it will be, how many ECTS. We don't know yet, yeah, because now we follow two federal state education standards, but in future, as soon as in 2021, we will be follow just federal state requirements.
Galina,
It's a
you
bit
have last
tricky.
minutes left.
Okay, and you can see that the scientific qualification thesis defense will will be not in requirements, and just PhD thesis and pre-defense will be the end of PhD education. So and our graduates have diploma of third cycle, and the question do they finalize or not finalize the defense? It's a question now. So we are on the board, yeah, the border, so we don't know what will happen in 2021. The main objective, as we can see, contribute to the development of the researcher competence and effective preparation of PhD thesis for defense. So thank you for attention.